It's Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, 6 p.m., and I call the regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. Could you please bow your heads for invocation by Councilman Clark?
Dear Lord, we come to you tonight thanking you for all you have done for us. You've been a gracious Lord to us, and we appreciate that. We ask you to continue protecting us and keeping us safe. Bring rest for the weary, healing for the sick, and strength for the weak. I ask for your wisdom and guidance as we serve our community. May we all strive to be better and work together for the visitors, businesses, and residents of Diamond Head. And we ask you to bring our great nation back to a peaceful country as you intended it to be. Protect our soldiers, our first responders, and our men in blue as they put their lives on the line for us daily. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mayor Devereaux,
Here.
Councilmember Finley,
Here.
Councilmember Lisi,
Here.
Councilmember Cumberland,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Moore.
Here.
Could I get a motion to confirm the agenda?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark, City Clerk.
Are y'all not adding something? Yeah,
So we're going to revise the agenda. We're talking about this.
well, that's just a supplemental, yes, but didn't we add an, table of matters?
But that is the agenda
Oh,
now.
you already had it, okay, I have the old agenda, never mind.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where we're going.
Over here,
All right, City Clerk.
all right. Finley,
Here, or yes.
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. The next regular meeting of the City Council will be held July 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers located at City Hall. There will be a recess meeting from this meeting on July 5th beginning at 5 for the budget. City Hall will be closed on Tuesday, July 4th, 2023 in observance of Independence Day. The city's July 4th celebration will be held Saturday, July 1st from 5:30 to 10 p.m. located on the south side at Harbor Circle. The fireworks will begin at 9 p.m. We received notice today that on June 30th, 2023, right here in the council chambers at 5:30, the Sheriff's Department will be here conducting a golf cart safety training. So please try to come. Not saying you need safety lessons, but I think we all might could use a little safety lessons. Following that will be a pizza party. So we hope to see everybody here next Friday night, June 30th.
Could we put that on the electronic sign out front so more people with golf carts know to stop by?
And their golf cart for some lessons.
Yeah.
Bring the golf club.
Bring the golf cart. Can we also e-blast it this weekend, next week, so they know to come? Is there any agenda public comments? All right, city managers report.
Like I've spoken enough tonight, but I'll thank you, appreciate that. Just to give you some updates on our current projects, the Lillian Miller Pond have pretty much completed. Actually, the I-10 pond, they were dressing up the sides of it and have dredged everything out already, and just kind of dressing up the banks to that. They'll put in their stormwater management that is needed for that area, and then turn that over to the city. So we did a walkthrough already of Lily Pond, and we'll do one for the I-10 pond here probably in the next couple of days. The contract end date on that was July 17th, so they're actually going to finish a little earlier. The weather may have messed them up a little bit for the last couple of days, but hopefully they'll be finished up this week. The Park 10 Road has been advertised. We had a pre-construction meeting that was last week. Bids are due June 30th, and I hope that we will be able to get those approved and to you guys for July 5th for approval, so that we can get that project started. The Phase 4 paving job is still currently demobilized, waiting on the work that needs to be done up at Bayou Drive and Bayou Circle. That project unfortunately ran into a little snag that has been re-engineered, and we're waiting on material date of getting that material in. It's water line was in the way, so we're gonna have to put a steel casing around it, so they're waiting on that material to get here. And then they'll get in there and get started. He expects no more than a day to day and a half to get the whole work done. So once he does, then we can get that project remobilized, and the paving will be finished. That includes the striping on Golf Club Drive. So on your agenda for tonight is approval to extend the contract for another 31 days, moving it to July 31st as an end date, which hopefully will be the last one. Diamond Head Drive paving, those bids, that may be what you were talking about, July 18th.
I knew I had a July 18th on my head.
I couldn't think of which one you had there. The Diamond Head Drive paving, those bids are due July 18th. After some engineering review and so forth, hopefully we'll have it on the first meeting in August for approval and get started on that project as well. And that will do the entire loop. Montjoy Creek Kayak Launch Engineers finishing up surveying on that. We've got to do a little mulching that we want to do to help him survey and get everything done for where parking is going to go. Once we can get those locations finalized, we can get our final permit from the Corps of Engineers. Noma Drive Boat Launch, on your agenda tonight, Phase 1A, which is the utilities, is on for you guys to approve. That project actually came in about $40,000 below the engineer's estimate, which is a surprise. What a wonderful thing. So we'll be able to start that part of the project. And that's going to run sewer and water lines from roughly about the football field, which is kind of where that ends, out to that out to the boat launch area that we're building the parking lot, and then taking the overhead utility electrical lines down and putting them underground, so for safety purposes, so that as people bring in their boats in, there will be no overhead power lines for them to be interfered with. McKeekee Drive, the city engineers is still working on developing the specifications for that project, and I think there was some discussion while we were in here talking about budgets out there, so I missed that, but that's okay. So we're still working on that one, and hopefully can get started back on that soon and get that project completed. On the agenda tonight also is all the grant agreements for the state ARPA match funds. That will get anywhere between 12 to 14 drainage projects within the city funded, and we can get started on engineering work on all of those. I would love to say it will get us started construction tomorrow, but it will take a little more time, unfortunately, on that, but we'll get going on that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, redistricting for the July 5th agenda, we'll have a presentation made by GRPC regarding the redistrict of our election boundaries. They'll present that to us, and you guys can review that and make determinations as to whether you want to or don't, depending on what all the outcome is on that. Any questions?
Any questions to my left, starting with Councilman Moore? Councilman Clark?
Any update on the yellow house by the water tower? I think we were going to be, like, if it was going to be blighted, deemed blighted, or?
We have started that process, but I've also heard rumors about it being sold. So, but we are still working on that, and hopefully we'll have that to you guys soon if it doesn't get sold, to have that deemed as a hazard and move forward with that.
Anything new on the, the Ramada?
Well, actually, a little bit. A building department went over last week, I want to say it was, and their fire alarm system passed 100%, which I believe Ron said was the first time he's ever had one on the first try, that everything worked perfectly. So whoever put that entire system in did a very good job, and he was impressed at the overall facility. And again, I encourage all of you to step in there and knock on the door and ask to come in and see. But it's looking great as far as a building goes. Now, the only thing is, we still have to get a fire sprinkler system in there. That is, according to code, is a requirement, so.
Is there any monies out there to help him get that, as far as grants or anything?
I introduced him to SMPDD. They actually would, lend him about $500,000. Wasn't interested, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I can follow up, make sure he understands if, that's an opportunity for him if he wants to go that direction.
And John, I talked to you briefly about it, but his attorney reached out to me last week about presenting some options to us to get the building open. So we're looking for that. So they're aware of what the, the code requirements are, and they're looking at some options. So we'll have something from them soon, I think.
All right. Moving on to me. You finished, Councilman Clark? All right, thank you. So my first thing, Makiki, these residents have been their street's been blocked since January. I feel this is slow.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it is. And I sincerely didn't mean to interrupt you, but one of the things we're doing is we're negotiating with that bond attorney. And in fact, Melissa and Ben, we're going to get them scheduled for a phone conference with them. One of the problems that we're running into, that we're finding, and I think Ben can correct me if I'm wrong, but we spoke about it a little bit. They're having to they're finding out that there's some real problems there. And one of the things that they're having to do is design it and redesign it, and we're hoping to do it in a way that we don't have to rip out everything that's been done. But they're having trouble.
That's the question that I have tonight. We've got a work assignment for $23,000, which I thought we went out and did the field work. We picked up the data. So I guess, Ben, do you have a minute to come talk about where we are? Because we were hoping that everything would be finalized at this meeting and we could be ready to go. Melissa could go to the bond people and say, hey, we're going to have to bid. Now with a number like this, it's like, we're going to have to advertise to bid because apparently this is way over what we can get quotes for.
And maybe not.
That would be, it's going to be less than 50, you think?
75.
75?
75.
That's what we're
Well,
hoping.
then, so this is not to exceed 23,000. Okay, because I'm looking at the number and I'm thinking.
It is, and so that our work authorization covers the emergency survey, the emergency work that we went in to put in the new water line, connect the water line.
Okay, so we're
and
going.
do that field work. So that's covering that as well as the redesign of Makiki.
So
And
what did you find? What have you
So
found?
not only were the junction box was installed properly or it has failed, and I don't want to go into detail as to my thoughts on that, but it's not installed properly. We all knew the conflict box wasn't installed properly. It was protruding into the roadway. But not only that, the conflict was the sewer main or the gravity sewer. Well, the gravity sewer is placed at the invert of that conflict box, right? So Mayor, as the water's flowing through that conflict box, any debris that gets in the system is going to hit that gravity main.
Definitely.
And so not only, we can't just go cut the top of the box. The easy solution would be cut the top of the box, drop in a new top, pave over it. Now we're having to remove the conflict box, drop it probably 12 inches to give us hopefully 12 to 18 inches below the gravity conflict. That way we have free flowing below the gravity conflict. In addition, we're looking at putting grates on the influent side, upstream side, to prevent any debris coming in, because we don't want debris to get trapped in the conflict box, because on the top of the conflict box, they put the manway in the middle. And it's a 12 by 10 conflict box, give or take a few feet. I don't know the exact dimensions, but as you know, you can't get into a conflict box if the manway's in the middle.
So we're building a new box.
We're going to try and use the existing box and lower the box. But to do that, we're going to have to remove all the pipes that have been put in.
And the road.
Yeah, well, it's gravel now, but yes, we'll have to dig it out, lower the box, punch new holes in the sides of the box, grout around it for the conflict,
Close
and
up
then
the ones in it.
relay the 42-inch at a steeper slope, because now we're about 10 to 12 inches lower.
The good thing about that is you only have to cut 4 feet off the top instead of 5.
We won't cut
I'm
as
trying
much
to
off.
find a positive here.
That's correct. So
Oh,
what
wow.
was a simple fix quickly turned into, yeah, we could do that, but then it's gonna be a maintenance nightmare. And you've got a flow restriction in your conflict box, and we don't want that.
And Mayor, we're trying to do all of this and avoid litigation. And, you know, so right now, I will say this, we've had great cooperation with the bond attorney. But there's a process and there's some certain legal requirements that we've got to go through. And so when we do get this from Ben, we need approval. I mean, from the, you know, if we're going to be getting it, you know, because we're going to be looking to them for payment, you know. And so, you know, ultimately, you know, they're going to look at it and, you know, we've got to get their signing off on it. We've got some other issues, some I just was made aware of today. Ms. Bunter called. She's got trees that are now leaning on her fence in danger of hitting her house. She wants to, you know, so we've got some property damage issues that are, you know, J&A's, their insurer is going to have to get involved because, you know, we're being told now by the bond company they're not responsible for that. So there were some separate agreements in there that, you know, between Ms. Bunter and J&A. So we've got a lot of moving parts, but we're trying to assist those residents that were damaged. We're trying to avoid litigation, and we're trying to get this done correctly.
So getting back to the construction project, that box is the main thing that we have to correct on the project?
Correct.
We checked all the inverts and everything
We
was
checked that, and
fine?
we're gonna reset with the new inverts. They're gonna
But
change.
on the existing structures, you checked those?
They're gonna have to change because we're gonna lower the box. I mean, and I'll be honest, you know, we're
I'm-
coming into this and picking up an unfortunate situation, as we all know,
Mm-hmm.
and if I had a magic wand, I'd probably do it completely different.
And it's
But-
it's double difficult
Double-
to go behind someone and try to, I totally understand where you're coming from.
And so
But then-
I'm sorry to cut you off. We're trying to utilize as much of the infrastructure as you
Right.
have in place that you've already paid for as possible. For quickness on materials on site, to save cost. So we're moving as fast as we can. We had a meeting with our design team today to talk about it. And that was the focus is no, we're not redoing, we're not starting from zero. Let's stay focused on utilizing as much of the existing infrastructure as we can and make it as best as possible.
So we still have, okay, that box has got to be taken out, the pipe's taken out the street, the road's dug back up, even though it is just limestone, that's a lot of work. And it was kind of deep. The box lowered, the holes put in, the top cut off, do we even have the top on site? Because I've never seen it.
Yeah, the top's been on site.
Okay.
Both tops are there. We're gonna get a new top for the junction box because that was, for some reason, run over. What looked like it was run over by tracks.
Ooh.
Junction box is out of the roadway.
What about the ditch that's on the outfall ditch? Didn't we have riprap on either side?
We did have a little bit of
Grouted.
riprap. So we're going to straighten that ditch as much as possible to follow the existing property line, which won't cut through the back of the gentleman's yard as much. And we'll have a little bit of riprap in that ditch.
So all that work's gonna be added,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have the probable cost yet?
No,
Because it's looking like over 75.
we're hoping.
I mean, I'm hearing it, and it's,
It's,
You know, if we have to bid it, we have to bid it, and we're just, you know, we're gonna make sure it's done right. You know, obviously, you know, speed is our goal, but we're gonna make sure it's done right.
so how long until we get the plans done?
our goal is to have it sent out to quotes before your next meeting. Hopefully to have quotes back.
Yes, Ben,
So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're real close. We're real close. We've sent a surveyor out there multiple times. We're making sure, as Derek said, that it functions properly. I mean, number one, it's got to function properly. Number two, we can't have conflicts inside our conflict box. And so if we get those two things done, and then we had to look downstream, right? If we're going to lower our conflict box, we need to make sure that the downstream inverts of the ditch that we're tying into, that we're not just going to build a pond and hold water in somebody's backyard.
That's a new name, a CCB instead of a CB.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, any other questions? The residents just want to know. I get calls about this, or I run into people, and it's been a while. So the next meeting, we should have,
If you don't have quotes, you
Quotes.
should, it's
it'll
in
be advertised
contractor's
in the
hands.
bid.
Yes, ma'am. Or at
Okay.
least in contractor's hands for quotes.
Okay. If we don't have quotes, it'll be in their hands, and if we know we need to bid, it'll be on the agenda to bid.
Yes,
Which
ma'am.
will push us out 60 more days at least.
Hopefully not.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Other than, if 75,000 is our maximum, maybe we contact the bond attorney, maybe they should be on the line for some contingency up to $25,000 to save us 3 weeks to bid.
Well, yeah, it doesn't quite work like that, but
2
no, I get
months.
what you're saying, though. I mean, the total
Well,
job,
yeah,
whatever.
I know how it works, but I'm
There-
saying,
we're
if
gonna
you put
try
it
to-
in their court, say, if we are pressed an extra 3 weeks, we are gonna be looking for more damages.
Oh, we're looking for them to pay exactly what, I mean, we originally had a quote and we had a bid and we accepted that bid to do this job for a certain amount of money.
Well,
And
this
that's
time
what the
it-
bond covers.
Yeah, but
And,
the time is more important to me than the money, and I'm certain that the residents out there would think so.
I think everybody agrees. That's excellent. It is. The time is like of the essence.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We can make a diamond with time and pressure. I think we need to increase the pressure because we don't have the time.
And we sure don't have the diamond.
Understood.
Okay, let's move on. So the other questions I had was, with the current weather we just had, the HMGP grant for the sirens, and I keep hearing we're working on it, we're sending information. This has been a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
I would agree with you there. It's been about a year and a half. Unfortunately, just still waiting on FEMA they keep coming back every so often with, RFIs wanting to know some more information about it. And then we give them that information and they go away for a little while and then pop back up. So it's in their court and we're just hoping and waiting. That's all we can do.
So can we send FEMA a letter? Can you think to do that next week and ask for an update so that we just had horrific weather? We saw the tornadoes in Moss Point and we really want the sirens, like tomorrow, because they've had a year and a half. And you know what, John? We did put in for the unit that was the best of all the units. And if that's an issue, can you discuss maybe if they see some other
Right.
siren that would work better?
That has not been the issue so far. At least that's
Okay.
not what they've said. They've just asked for just, where are you putting it? Why, how tall is it gonna be? Pictures of the building, yeah. It's just all that kind of stuff, and which we send all that to them, but they just keep asking.
Can,
Yeah, artifact, yep.
can you send then about what just recently happened on the coast
Sure.
and the weather that we're going through
We
and
can do
let
that.
that be driving factors, because we really need that. Then CRS, a lot of us got the flood insurance updated, our new bills in, and flood insurance is not a pretty thing. Where are we with the rating?
Ron is working on that, and he is anticipating to be finished with that probably by mid-July.
And that will go into effect.
I believe he's going to try for the first of the fiscal year, so October 1.
October 1.
Now, I think that's kind of out of our control as to whether that can happen, but we submit.
Okay. The other thing, last meeting we discussed, you were going to reach out to check on the bridge
Yes.
for Bayou Drive.
He finally sent me an email yesterday afternoon, apologizing. He'd been out of town or something, I guess, and then doing some catch up. So we've got to get back together and work on that. But I am looking at possibly one of these ARPA projects might be able to fund that as well. So because Go Mesa funded one of them, so I'm going to have to see if we can swap that out, and if so, we can go that direction instead.
Okay, because Bayou Drive is in desperate need. The other thing was, I know we had a lot of drainage concerns today, a lot of issues. I received a lot of emails, photos. Again, the one that I've received the most on is the Diamond Head Drive North, Aiki, Kaliki. Kaliki was completely underwater. And
And
I
that's in
sent them
this-
to everybody, Amoka, that same drainage area.
That's in this ARPA project that you guys hopefully are approving tonight.
So
We get
this
started
one,
on that.
okay, I'm just telling you, this is a very serious priority, because it was within inches of getting into several residents today. And the street was it was completely underwater. It was out the ditches, it was all over the place.
And I would say hopefully, and maybe speaking out of turn for Ben, but since he did the watershed engineering on that, a lot of that information is already there for him. So they should be able, hopefully, to
Move on that one
move on that one
quick.
quicker than
Move,
some of
Ben,
the others.
please.
I don't know that for a fact, but I'm speaking out of turn for you.
And I have videos, I've got several videos from today, and I tried to email them, but it wouldn't let me email them, so I'll
bad.
text them to you all. Okay, anything to my right? Councilman Cumberland?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Finley? All right.
Councilman
Oh, Councilwoman Lacey, I'm so
Don't forget
sorry.
about it.
Okay, here
I'm
we go.
sorry. John, I know you sent Pat sent the council an email shortly before the meeting with the agenda for P&Z next time, and it included the updated tree ordinance. Just for the benefit of the public, can you just kind of let us know where we are on that so people know?
Oh, certainly. The tree ordinance is going back to P&Z for their second review. We've received several more comments, a lot of the same comments over and over again, which is wonderful, that everyone feels the same way. But what we sent out to P&Z today, as well as to the council, and posted on our website for the residents to view, is the latest draft that we have that's going to, that P&Z is going to look at. I can't speak for P&Z, but overall, if they accept that and make the changes they want or add in whatever they need, they may bring something to the council for the July 5th meeting. They could also decide they want to, work on it some more and back it up for another month. But we'll just have to wait and see what they do at next week's P&Z meeting. But it is out there for everyone to see.
Thank you.
And it's still open for public comments. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. This is a draft. We've had, in the past, we've done some of these things. We've had kind of several drafts of things floating around. So we really wanted to just get one initial draft now that everybody can be working from. But it is by no means closed to comments. And that's what the purpose of that meeting is. Next Tuesday, 6 o'clock here in City Council Chambers with P&Z. It is going to be a public hearing for more comments. Tell us you love it, hate it, whatever it is, but they'll be taking comments there. So it's not too late.
And if they can't attend the meeting, they can email to Pat Rich?
Yeah, Pat is the best kind of clearinghouse, and so when you email other folks, it's going to make its way to Pat. So get it to Pat, directly if you want him to have it. But he's received a ton of comments, but there's really a common theme with a lot of the comments, and we believe this ordinance addresses, I think, every one of them. So.
I tell you, the ward meeting was wonderful with that discussion. John, thanks for coming as well. Councilman, I mean, we had a lot of discussion at Arborist, the Garden Club. It really, residents are very engaged in the street ordinance.
And we got those comments.
I have a question about that ward meeting, since you brought it up, and this is for Derek. What would happen if 4 of us showed up at that ward meeting on a Saturday?
You'd be having a public meeting, so you would have to have notice, you'd have to have an agenda, you'd have to have minutes. So, yeah.
Who went to the one?
Just
Friday?
Gerard.
You and Gerard?
We've never had 4. We
I
usually
know for
don't
that
have
reason.
any.
I'll be honest
So I'm
with you, I'd
happy.
like to go, but-
Oh, well, come. Because usually, I'm thankful. And it's a very good time for residents to come. And July is going to be our 50th ward meeting, which is phenomenal.
You started them.
I know, many years back. All right, well, moving right along to, is that all the questions for the city? He has said he's talked enough. He said, yes, it is. No more questions. I know, that's our cue. Okay, moving right along, could I get a motion to approve the June 6, 2023 regular meeting minutes? Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second? Second by Councilman Clark. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Marr,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. I am going to move to the table 2023-202, a motion to authorize city manager to advertise the bid for the Twin Lakes Fishing Pier and walking, should say trail, not train, project as per completed construction plan dated 2022 with entry building as built bid alternate number 1. Could I get a second to remove from the table?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Finley. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Marr,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. I'm going to move to authorize the city manager to advertise to bid the Twin Lakes Fishing Pier and Walking Trail project as per completed construction plans dated 2022, August 2022 with entry building and bid alternate number 1. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion? City Clerk?
Wait, I have a question if we're discussing. And I'm sorry, I'm not there in person, but I just had a question. So have we gotten the final plans to review? Because I don't think I've seen them yet.
Yeah, we've had them. August of 2022.
I mean, but weren't they going to be sent to us, John, or I just...
We do have a set of plans, but it does not, it's not the same set as the last engineer's estimate was. There's
So
some
we
discrepancies there.
So, all right, so just to be clear, we have not gotten the final set of plans that we're being asked to vote on?
Yes, you are. The ones you're being asked to vote on are the ones from the August 2022 before you had made a motion to take some of the stuff off. This is the original set of plans.
Okay, so there aren't any changes to the August 2022 plans?
Not at all.
Okay, and then let me ask one more question. So since all this discussion has started, some properties become available at Noma Drive. So is that not worth exploring to see if that might be a better location that's without, there wouldn't be any environmental impacts, there might be more rooms, there are bathrooms down there that's already water and sewer. I'm just asking, so has that been considered?
It has been considered, and the Youth League has got plenty of ideas for that. And that's probably the only thing we have left for kids beside the volcanoes in the city of Diamond Head. The Spartans use that.
So John, you're the one who's talked to the POA. What is your recommendation right now? I mean, with all these parts considered.
Right, well, the area, the parcel that the POA is looking to lease to us, as I said earlier, has about a 1.8 plus acre of area outside the fenced-in football fields that could be utilized for a dog park or other things. As you said, Ms. Lisi, you would have a restroom down there, which unfortunately we would not have one over on the Twin Lakes side because the actual pavilion restrooms are not opened unless they're being utilized by somebody. So they're not accessible. So you wouldn't have a restroom, but you would down there because there is a mobile restroom facility there at the football field.
And the Twin Lakes, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. You still have a question?
No, please, I do, but you go ahead.
So the Twin Lakes does have a restroom, but if you look at and visit all the dog parks on the coast, none of them have restrooms. So we have set higher standard with having the Twin Lakes next to it with a restroom. Knowing the property that's already cleared that the Youth League has, all around there's wetlands. It's all wetlands. So the only thing you can do is green areas. We wouldn't be able to clear anything in that area, but I would like to see that used as a youth area. There's plenty of ideas. People want to do skate parks. There's lots of things that the youth want in Diamond Head that we need to address. And I'm on board with helping our youth, not taking away from our youth, but adding for things for our youth to do.
Well, as am I. I'm on board with adding for you. I just think, we don't know what the youth want. I mean, I think you do because you talked to them, but we haven't heard. And so I'd ask that we leave this table just until the next meeting, so maybe we can get a plan from the youth. I'd like to see the final plans. I think there were some changes after the August 2022 plans, or I'd like to at least receive a copy of that. We were never sent it. So I'm just asking that we leave it tabled till the next meeting. I'm not against the dog park, but I just don't feel like we've got all the info.
And it may not pass, Councilwoman Lucy. We're going to vote on it because I've left it on the table for a couple of months for everybody to get their questions answered. The Dog Park Steering Committee, some of the members are here. They've waited several months for everybody to get their questions answered. If people hadn't gotten them answered, then you can just vote no, or whoever. It may not pass, so we're at a point where we're going to vote. Is there any more discussion?
I want to
I
ask
have,
something.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear that East Rec may be an option for something for us right there on the side?
That would be a possibility as well with the new Supreme Court ruling on wetlands. The lots there in the front part, kind of where Tennis World is, which were considered wetlands, could become available, or would be, instead of being wetlands, would be areas that you could clear and fill as they are not connected to a body of water. So that could be an area also if you're interested in putting it there. You would be next to the rest of the recreational equipment or spaces that are there, and kind of away from residential.
So how long before we would be able to find out for sure, yea or nay, on that property?
I would have to reach back out to the city engineer, and I know they went and looked at the property one time before for a different reason. But I could get him to take a look at that now that the Supreme Court ruling has come out, and have them do a second evaluation if you would like.
Are we talking about the property in the front?
You are talking about
That
the
where
properties.
the POA got in trouble on the wetlands that were cleared?
That's correct.
I personally, myself, drew a dog park in that area, and it's not even comparable to the size. I have a plan on that park. I drew it, so it wasn't big enough. I drew it for free for the POA. I was ready to do, I have worked with these residents. We have exhausted. It's not like we just came up and said, hey, we're building it. We've been working on this for years.
That's understandable, and I applaud everyone's efforts. And I'm sorry that I'm new to the council, but I wasn't here for the beginnings of this. I still have environmental concerns about runoff. I just want to make sure that we have explored other available options that were not open before. And then the park, and then the drive is an available option. I don't see the harm in waiting 2 more weeks and leaving it on the table. I don't want to vote no on it. I just wanted to check on it. And we've waited this long. 2 more weeks is not going to kill the project. I just don't see the rush.
All right, Councilman Cumberland, did you have a comment?
Well, I was just going to ask, did we have a number that we're voting on, a dollar amount?
I unfortunately, I do not in front of me. I was not anticipating this.
It's
She
around
might have her dog park.
30,000,
I have my folder, but I don't know what's in it.
about 35,000 is all we need to add to it.
Oh, this is to add money to?
Mm.
But you would,
I
yes.
was wondering about the
Which
total,
ones?
the total
I have
cost.
this, but I don't
Yeah,
know what
that's
that
close to
was.
around.
It's not dated.
I remember we were bouncing
Is
around.
that the right
The
one?
dog park's about 85,000, and the fishing pier and walking trail's a little over 230
No, I,
Yeah.
I got the
And
dog
we need another
park.
Yeah, that's it.
35 for
She
like
Yeah.
said
3
85.
for the dog park.
The one I have here is 57 for the dog park. Base bid at 63, so I don't know if this is one that I was given.
I believe that's the last one I had.
That's, I don't have, I think that's the only one I have.
But yes, this would require adding money to the budget, or allocate, or putting new money to the budget, as there is none at this time in the budget.
So that's what we're voting for, is to add $35,000 to a project?
We're voting to advertise, like we're
We're voting
doing
to
Noma
advertise.
Drive, and nobody's seen the plans. I asked for those before the meeting. I don't
Well-
even know what we're advertising to bid on
I
that.
would just to be clear, in the motion that we're bringing back from the table, there's no money amount in there. You're
That's
just
not.
bidding to advertise. So at some point, when we get the bids, then you're gonna have to address that.
Right, and we'll look at it when we get the bids and see where we are, because things may come in less. All right, I think we've talked about this long enough. There's a motion, there's a second. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
No.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, hold on a second. What, I can't hear and the phone is glitching. Was that the motion to take it off the table?
That was the
Or was the
motion
motion to,
The motion
I'm sorry?
advertise to bid.
oh, I'm sorry, my phone was going in and out. I'm a no. Can you, I please change my vote?
Okay, so that's 4 yes, 2 no's, motion passes. Resolution 2023-251, motion to adopt Resolution 2023-024, thereby acquiring by donation certain real property for drainage and/or green space by PG White. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Marr, City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Public hearing. Property owner Bonnie F. Gertz. Property owner Bonnie F. Gertz. Last call for property owner Bonnie F. Gertz. Public hearing, 2023-258, motion to adopt resolution 2023-025 to adjudicate that the abandoned gooseneck trailer and yellow JBC 241 backhoe at 6435 Calabacona Way to be a menace to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Authorization to advertise for bids and/or obtain quotes to perform the necessary services to remove the trailer and backhoe from the property and assesses the cost to said property for other related purposes. Property owner Bonnie F. Gertz. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? To my right? City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve consent agenda items 4 through 18?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Motion to approve docket of claims DKT 230799, DKT 230838 in the amount of $545,400.62. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley, second.
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor? Oops, City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Motion to approve payroll payables DKT 230789, DKT 230798 in the amount of $52,183.57. PKT 01364 in the amount of $2,523.58. PKT 01365 in the amount of $26,860.60. PYPKTO 1371 in the amount of $30,994.19. And PYPK 701374 in the amount of $30,489.97. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark, second.
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr, City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve department reports A through B?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Is there any public comments on non-agenda items? No public comments at all. Could I get a motion to recess until 5 p.m., July 5th, 2023?
I'll move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley, second by Councilman Clark. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.